Hello! If you've ever bought dog food, you might have come across a term called hypoallergenic diet. अब ये है क्या आखिर में, कि क्यों है, ये एग्जिस्ट क्यों करता है और इसको क्यों बोलते हैं वेट्स के, ये आपको ट्राई करना चाहिए. The term hypoallergenic essentially means any product which is relatively unlikely to cause an allergy. ठीक है, डॉग फूड के मतलब में इसका मतलब है कि this type of dog food has no common food allergens like gluten, chicken, जो भी ये common food allergens होते हैं वो उसमें नहीं होते हैं. तो अगर ये commonly used food items नहीं है इस डाइट में तो actually क्या होता है? We spoke to Surabhi, who's a canine nutritionist, and she explained to us what these diets actually contain.
So one of the first things that gets suggested by any vet is hypoallergenic diets, right? And essentially the whole premise is that these contain lesser allergen foods to sort of support the body, and you know, that's really what the dog can consume over a period of time. Again, a lot of the times these are recommended in dry form, which also means that they are less in moisture, loaded with synthetic supplements. And so what I wanted to do is really show you a bunch of ingredients that I found on some of the more commonly recommended hypoallergenic diets, right? And so this one is again a really popular brand. So again, if you look at the ingredients here, it's got rice, it's got hydrolyzed soya protein isolate, animal fats, hydrolyzed poultry liver, beet pulp, minerals, soya oil, fish oil. It's got a strain of bacteria and saccharides, borage oil, marigold extract, protein sources, and carbohydrate source is rice, right? This is one composition. The other composition is sweet potato, dehydrated fish protein, fish oil, calcium carbonate, monodicalcium phosphate, sodium chloride, protein source is dehydrated fish protein, carbohydrate source is sweet potato, right? And the reason why I'm putting this out there is because I think a lot of the times we go to vets saying, okay, a hypoallergenic diet and this is what works. But what we don't necessarily take a step back to think about is what is really in that food, right? And if you look at the first one, for example, you'll notice that this is extremely heavy on synthetic supplements, right? This is extremely heavy on soya as a source of protein, which is actually a very, very low quality source of protein for our dogs, right? Animal protein is the highest quality. All amino acids, necessary enzymes are extremely bioavailable in that sense. And so, you know, again, this is a low quality protein source. It is filled with synthetic supplements. The carbohydrate source is rice, which again, for a lot of dogs could be an allergen. Most dogs don't necessarily need rice or grain unless in very specific circumstances. And so while, yes, this may not have, let's say, your meats, which could be potential allergens, overall, it's not a very nutritionally sound meal, right? And so while your dog may not show certain allergic symptoms because of an elimination of certain components that, again, these are very generic and these are very random, I think it's also important to just consider that the nutritional benefits that the dog is gaining from this kind of diet isn't much at all, right? With the second one, we get a little better with the second one, right? Because we see that there's sweet potato, we see that there is dehydrated fish protein, you know, a little bit better than the first one. But again, this is a very imbalanced diet, right? Because here the focus really is much more on a carb heavy diet as opposed to a protein heavy diet. And we also know that dogs thrive much better on a high protein, high fat diet as opposed to a high carb diet, right? And so again, the balance between the carbs and the proteins is really off. It's slightly skewed. And so again, I think that, you know, just something to think about is while it might be very blanket and magically addressing a certain allergy that your dog is struggling with, overall, you know, these are not very nutritionally sound designed diets, right? And so there are other cons to feeding this kind of diet over a period of time as well. Yeah, so that's a little bit with hypoallergenic diets.
तो इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? If hypoallergenic diets aren't always successful, what do I need to do if my dog has a food allergy? इसके लिए we've made another video which will help you solve what to do if your dog has a food allergy. So go ahead and watch that. If you'd like to get answers to other dog nutrition questions like this, make sure you're downloading the Sploot app, जहाँ पे आपको मिलेगा content on everything from dog nutrition, behavior, health, etc., where you'll be able to talk to other dog parents and get their opinions, attend live webinars with experts like Surabhi from the video, and track your dog's medical records as well as exercise. Download now on iOS and Android. And if you want to watch more informational content like this, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel.